Antarctica. Antarctica is one of the most fascinating places in the world. It is the coldest, windiest, driest, least populated place on Earth. So without further ado, here are 12 incredible facts about Antarctica. Number 1. The Antarctic ice. Antarctica is about 3,400 miles long by about 2,500 miles and is roughly the size of the USA and Mexico combined. It's the only continent to have no countries, and an incredible 98% of its landmass is covered in ice. In most areas, the ground is covered with ice that's more than 1 mile deep, while some areas of Antarctica are covered in about 3 miles of ice. Some of the mountains there are covered in so much ice that you can only see the peaks of the mountains, and some of the mountains are buried completely. So if someone wanted to dig down until they hit the ground, they'd probably be digging for a really long time. Number 2. The population. Can you guess how many people permanently live in Antarctica? Well, the answer to this question is 0. Not a single person has a permanent home there. Some 5,000 or so researchers visit Antarctica for a few months at a time in the summer, and very few researchers stay in the winter. There are various research stations in a few different areas spread across Antarctica. There is also a small settlement that has around 100 people at a place called Villa Las Estrellas on King George Island. If we zoom in here, we can see the area where they live. And they also have a carved out road that leads to their own airport runway, making it much easier to get to and from the island. And there's another place quite nearby with a little over 50 people called Esperanza Base in Hope Bay. Some stay in these places for up to a year or two, but no one stays there permanently. There are no permanent residents anywhere in Antarctica. Number 3. The driest place on Earth. Antarctica is the driest place on Earth and is actually a desert. Now, when many people think of a desert, many imagine a hot, dry, sandy place with maybe the odd camel going by. But the definition of a desert is a place where no more than 25 centimetres of rain or snow will fall per year. Well, Antarctica only gets an average of around 15 centimetres, so Antarctica is definitely classed as a desert. But you may be thinking, look at all the snow and ice on the ground. Didn't you say that the ice is 1 to 3 miles deep in many places? Well, yes, but it has taken millions of years to get like this. Also, there are some parts of Antarctica that's had no rain or snowfall for around 2 million years. These areas in Antarctica are the driest places in the world. Number 4. The dinosaurs. 90 million years ago, Antarctica's temperatures used to be much warmer, and it rarely ever went below freezing there, with temperatures averaging around 20 degrees Celsius. Dinosaurs lived there around this time, and it was even warm enough for forests to grow, with much less ice and snow around. Number 5. North in all directions. At the South Pole of Antarctica, every way is north. So because at the South Pole you couldn't be any further south, whichever way you step, you will then be moving northwards. So a signpost might look something like this. Every direction is north when you're standing at the South Pole. Number 6. The windiest. Antarctica is the windiest continent on Earth. Wind speeds can reach up to a sustained 200 miles per hour. When wind speeds reach 100 miles per hour, this can be enough to knock some people off their feet, but at 200 miles per hour, everyone is better off staying indoors. Luckily for those researchers in Antarctica, there are plenty of days where the wind speeds are a lot calmer. Number 7. What if the ice melts? Antarctica holds about 90% of all of the world's ice, and within that ice is about 70% of all of the world's fresh water. If all of the ice in Antarctica melted, many scientists say that sea levels would rise by about 60 metres, so let's hope it stays as it is. Number 8. The lowest temperature in the world. Just how cold can it get in Antarctica? Well, the lowest temperature ever recorded at ground level is minus 89.2 degrees Celsius or minus 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature was recorded in July 1983 at the Vostok station and is the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth. At these kinds of temperatures, anyone that stood outside could develop frostbite or hypothermia in under 5 minutes. The antifreeze in cars would actually freeze up at such low temperatures, and fairly much all electronic devices, such as mobile phones, will not work at these extremely low temperatures if exposed to the elements for just a few minutes, so no selfies at minus 89 Celsius. In general, we're better off at surviving in places that are much warmer. Number 9. Antarctica has no trees. You can travel for miles and miles there and never see a single tree. Well, it's not too surprising really, as most of the ground has such thick ice. No tree in the world stands a chance of living out there. It's too icy, too dry and too cold. Number 10. The animals. There are no four-legged animals that are native to Antarctica. For example, there are no dogs, no cats, and no polar bears there. But there are seals, whales, penguins, and other birds too. Penguins can be seen waddling around and swimming in the water in some areas. Penguins here only live by the coast, so you won't see any penguins in the middle of Antarctica, such as at the South Pole. Number 11. The unusual days. At the South Pole, the days there are very unusual. It has one long sunrise in September, then it stays light for 24 hours a day from October to February, followed by one long sunset in March, and after that it then stays dark 24 hours a day from April to August. This happens because the South Pole is tilted towards the Sun for 6 months of the year, then tilted away from the Sun for the following 6 months. Antarctica is generally known for only having 2 seasons, which are summer and winter. Most researchers only stay in Antarctica during the summer period, as the winter has much harder working conditions. The winters are darker, colder and windier, so it's best to get out of there during the winter months. And finally, number 12, the aurora. The aurora can be seen in Antarctica on some of the dark, cloudless nights. It lights up the sky with flickering green, pink, red, purple and blue illuminations. The best time to see this is during Antarctica's dark days in the winter. The aurora tends to happen mostly at around 50 to 100 miles above the Earth's surface and can look very mysterious and magical. So that was 12 amazing facts about Antarctica. Would you like to go visit this place? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.